Rebecca, same question to you. How did you prepare the first time and what changed?
The first go round for me, I did take part in the 2 day workshop that's offered post
Hmm.
course, which was helpful. And I should have known at that point that I wasn't prepared because going through that, I really wasn't able to flush out those questions, those short written
Hmm.
answers as adequately as I should have. That should have been my first indication that I needed much more work with that before sitting the test. And I think I kind of rushed the finish of the course with taking the exam. So that's the one thing that I would encourage people to really consider. If you get through the end of the course and you're not feeling 100% confident, you do that 2 day workshop and you're still a little, push your test out and take some individual theory sessions with Jess or someone else that's available. And I wanted to come back and really feel like I'd mastered the material a second time instead of just squeaking by. So I went from failing the first time to passing with distinction the second time. And that's in part because I went through the skills and drills, which is something that is relatively new, an offering that gives you a huge bank of theory questions, and you just can't practice those enough. I would do those theory questions. I would have my husband give me a question, and he'd have the rubric or the point allocation, and I would time myself, write it out, hand it to him, and he'd score it. And that was a good way to see just how quickly I could get that information out of my head onto the paper. I also did more flashcards the second go round, which I want to emphasize, do them yourself. Uh, the Napa Valley Wine Academy does supply flashcards, I think, as part of the package, but I would really say do your own. There's nothing like, tactile pen to paper, doing it yourself. And then I went a step further. I got myself a little projector and I made large easel size maps. I'm very visual, and it was helpful for me to draw in all the desert and the mountain and the rain shadows and the rivers and make notes as to which grapes, red and white, grow there, factors in the vineyard, factors in the
Hmm.
winery, and just have it all there, on a large format. So that was something else that was extremely valuable. And then let's see. I think that's it. I think that's pretty much everything that I threw out at the second time, and I was happy that I did because I felt much more prepared. And when I walked out, I felt like I had, mastered it, or at least I definitely was not squeaking by.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love the ways that yeah, that's what we want to do, right? How you interacted with the material. Because that's like, yes, we have to read the book, but that's like step one, right? Then it's working through those questions. I love that you timed yourself. That's so important
Yeah.
as well. Charlie mentioned the temporal component on the exam. That 2 hours goes by fast,
It's
right?
incredibly fast. And I liked
Yes.
what he said about allowing yourself 90 minutes
Yeah.
because even that, I mean, I think I had 90 minutes and I was still writing when they said pencils down, and
Yeah.
I could have kept
Get
going.
the last
I
little
could
thought
have
on there.
kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
In our level three skills and drills with the SWAs, I think you were actually one of our beta testers with that. So you got to
Yes,
see it in
I
its
was.
infancy and help us refine it. That's awesome.
That
So
was huge. It was huge because there were questions from, all parts of the globe, but then also specific questions about process, right? And those can be, I think, even harder than the region specific questions. Especially with some like the fortified wines. That there's a lot of information there. So I think the more theory questions you can do, the better for some of the process driven questions.